Hello everyone and welcome back to Just Finish Coding. This is part 3 of our 3D Elf Run series which we're making on Scratch 3. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Just finished coding.
Now I have to interject here that if you've not watched parts 1 and 2, please watch them before you come here because as you can see, I'm picking up from where I left off, and for this video to make sense, you need to watch the previous ones. I will leave a card for you right here. Please watch the videos and then come right back. If you're still here, I'm going to assume that you've watched parts 1 and 2, in which case you should have the background rolling and you should also have the player movement pretty smoothly set up. So in this video, I'll be programming the obstacles / the cars, and I'll be making them move in such a way that it appears as if they're coming down this road. And they literally will be doing that in a way, but we will not have the layering completely set up in this video. So for example, the car here, instead of being behind the car on this lane, would actually be in front of it in some cases, because the layering is a whole, it would deserve a whole new video for itself, and it's pretty complicated. So I will do that probably in the next video. So now we can get into the obstacle, and as usual, we can start with a when I receive init, and I'm going to zoom in so that you guys can see better. Alright, there we go. So here I'm going to set up a couple of variables, okay, and just like we did it for our background, we will have a variable called clone for the sprite only with a boolean, with a question mark standing for boolean. I will also have a variable called spawn countdown, just the way I had it for my background, and I will set it for the sprite only. And I will also set up one more variable, and this is going to be for the sprite as well. And this is going to be called double, and I'll leave a question mark after that just to show that it's boolean. Now you probably know what clone and spawn countdown do, but you're probably confused on what double actually is. So don't worry about that, just follow me along for now. We just need to set clone and spawn countdown. So as of now, we can set clone to no because this first object is just going to be controlling all the other clones. And we can also set our spawn countdown to a pick random of 14 to 18. And this is the number I'm going to go ahead with. And in case your computer is faster or slower, you can modify this. However, I'd not recommend you do that because it does get pretty tricky once you start to change the numbers and then the cars get too fast and sometimes it's impossible to evade them. So I'd recommend you stick around with these numbers. Alright, so after this, I'm going to make sure I hide, and I will also make sure that I switch to the first costume. So I have many different costumes you can see here. And what you can do is delete all of these optional second costumes. And when I first saw this game, there were 6 costumes in total, and we were picking, rather than 1 out of 4, we were picking 1 out of 6. But it really doesn't make a difference. It's just going to be a variety of more colors you would see, or more of a randomness, if you want to put it that way. But this works just fine, so you can delete all of that and just make sure there are 4 different cars of different colors. And initially what I will do is switch the costume to car black, and you can see this here which says switch costume to car orange, and you can just change that to black. Alright, so before we proceed now, it's important to not make the same mistake that we were about to do in the background sprite, and that is not deleting all the clones at first. And we did this in the background sprite, so instead of having a delete this clone and getting stuck with our entire code, what you can do is just type in a repeat 1, put in the delete this clone inside that, and put the remaining code after that, just the way I'm doing it here. Now all of this is optional, and by optional I mean the order doesn't really matter, and you could have it the way I did it, or you can put these things up here. Either way, it isn't going to make a difference. So now I can get into the main game tick. So I'm going to head over to events and say when I receive tick. So in this case, I will have 2 different conditions. So one is the particular object can be a clone. And if that is the case, then the clone variable needs to be set to yes. And if this is the case, then what I will do is create a new block called clone update. And I'll not be running without screen refresh since there are things that are going to happen on the screen. And once you have this like this, you can just click OK. So we can drag that to the side, and we're not going to use that as of now. and we can just drag and drop this block into this if then. So if clone is equal to no, that is where the things get interesting. So first of all, we need to make sure that our spawn countdown is constantly decreasing. So we can say change spawn countdown by -1, and instead of having this way we did it in the background where spawn countdown had to be 0, what I'll do instead is just say if spawn countdown is less than 0. So if spawn countdown is less than 0, it just simplifies things because we don't have to set it to some other random number when it gets to below 0, because this condition is going to be automatically set to true. So if this is the case, then what we will do is we have to start making sure that all the properties of the clone are correctly created. So for the properties, there are a couple of them. So first of all, we need to make sure that each car has a lane, and the lanes are going to be different compared to the background, not the background, the player, but I will get into that in a second. The car also needs to have a costume, but that really doesn't matter, and we don't need a variable for that is what I mean. We could just have a pick random and that would work fine. But what the car does need is a random number, and the random number is useful when we are deciding the lane. So you can just set this up for the sprite only, just like this. Now each car is also going to have an X and a Y to make sure that the car can move around in coordinates which are not represented in the X and Y grid. So you can just set them up this way like this, and that is pretty much all you need. So you can just hide all of those and uncheck the check boxes, and you can first of all just grab a block called init clone, and this just makes things easier. We don't have to squeeze in everything into this one when I receive tick. So we can just have an init clone like this here, and within this init clone, first of all, I will set the random variable. So set random to pick random of 1, 2, 3. So here we are deciding on the lane, and if you look at the player, what you would see is we had this extreme left lane as -1, we had the center as 0, and we had the extreme right lane as 1. And in the obstacles or the cars, it's going to be the exact opposite. This extreme right lane is going to be -1, the center is going to be 0, and the extreme left lane is going to be +1. Now this just makes things very convenient when we're doing our math, and there's no specific reason why this should be the case, and it would probably be way simpler if the game was just made with constant lanes where the lanes for the player was the same as the obstacles. But this just makes things easier when we get into our collision as well. So you can wait until that happens, and you would start to see how much easier the collisions actually get. But as of now, just remember that the lanes are completely different and try not to get confused with them. So now I'm going to enter into a couple of if else's. So first I'm going to say if random is equal to 1. So that's going to be the first case. And if random is equal to 1, then all I have to do is set the lane to be, I suppose I'll go with +1. Now, if this is not the case and random is equal to, if random is equal to 2, then what I will do is I will set the lane to be 0. And if this is not the case and random is 3, then I will just set it to -1. Very simple. I don't think I even need to explain this. I'm just randomly choosing the lane. Now what I'll do is I will set the costume to be a random costume. So all you have to do that is say switch costume to pick random 1 to 4. And Scratch by default, on recognizing that no costume is a number, is going to realize that we are talking not about the costume. I'm sorry, it's going to recognize that we're not talking about a costume name, but instead a costume number. And when I said that no costume number was 1 to 4, I meant no costume name was 1 to 4. And we also need to set up our X and Y positions. So set X2 and also set Y2. So X and Y are going to be a function of the lane variable which we've just chosen here. So our X position is going to be, and you can grab a plus from operators and put it like this, and also grab a multiplied and do it this way. So you can have it like this first. I'll do it for the X, and actually I'll just duplicate it right away. So as far as our X is concerned, I'll say 352 plus the lane times -58. And don't ask me why these numbers work, it's just that the game is set up in such a way that they do and the sizes match up perfectly. So we will grab the lane variable and put it here, and this is also going to be put here, so we can just drag and drop them right away. So when as far as our Y position is concerned, I'll be going to 48 plus lane times 29, and this is going to be our Y position in this case. So we've initted the clone and we have all the properties set up, and now all we have to do is create the clone. So I will just say create a clone of myself, and after this is where we use the double variable. And actually before I do that, what I will do is reset the spawn countdown variable. So I will say set spawn countdown 2, and you can just duplicate this block here. Pick random from 14 to 18. So what the double variable really does is it gives the cars a chance to come 2 at a time rather than the usual 1 at a time. So in case the double variable is set to true, then we will set 2 cars to come at the player rather than just 1. And that just makes, sense, because we wouldn't want just 1 car coming in all the time, and that would be pretty easy for the player to escape. So you can just have you can have an if then like this, or rather an if else, since we'll have 2 different cases. So first we will see if the double variable is true, and I know I haven't set it up yet, but we will do that in a second. And I said true, but what I really meant was yes. So if double is equal to yes, then what I will do is make a new block called init double clone, and this is because the double clones would have different properties. Okay, so init double clone, click OK, and we can just put this right below init clone, and we can say init double clone, and then we can just create a clone of ourselves with those particular properties. Okay, so just say create clone of myself, and in this case I will set the spawn countdown to a different thing. And that is because if I have 2 clones coming instead of 1, then I want to give the player a little bit more time to react. So I will say set spawn countdown between 20 and 26. And I just realized that I made a small mistake here, and you can quickly undo this. So I was initially correct. We needed to use an if then and not an if else. And you can put the if then like this. And also our setting spawn countdown would be done not when we're creating the double clone itself, but right before we create the double clone. Because there's no point giving the player time after we've created a clone, because the clone is coming at you anyway, and it's only the next clone that would be affected when we change the spawn countdown. But rather we'd have to do it before we create the double clone itself, and that is when the player would have more time to react. So you can actually keep that if else, because we're going to use it right away. And here what we will just have is a simple probability check. So I'm going to give it a 30% chance of forming a double, but I will give it a 70% chance of just being a single car. And the simple way you can do that is you can grab a less than, put 30 here, and you can just say if pick random from 1 to 100 is less than 30, and then we basically do all of this. So first we set the double variable to yes, so set double to yes, and we also set the spawn countdown to be between 20 and 26. And if this is not the case, then what we will do is we will set double to no, and once again we can just set it to be this 14 to 18. So set spawn countdown to pick random from 14 to 18. And you need to make sure that all of this code is within if spawn countdown is less than 0. Because if it's outside this, then we'll have doubles being created right before our spawn countdown even hits 0, which simply defeats the purpose, because the whole point of a spawn countdown is to make sure that the clones are created in a limited way and you don't create them every single second. Alright, so now we can go into this init double clone. And things are fortunately going to be very, very simple. So you can duplicate this, and we just need to make sure that the lanes are slightly different. So you can drag all these 3 lines of code because they're going to be the same, and you can pretty much chuck out everything else. Okay. So you need first of all an if else, and first we'll be checking if the lane is equal to 1. And if the lane is equal to 1, then we need to make sure that the double clone, which is the second clone, is not lane 1. So all we have to do in this case is say set lane to pick random of 0 and a -1, or rather pick random from -1 to 0. And if this is 1, we could have any of these two picked randomly, which makes sense. Now I'll also duplicate this if the lane is -1. And if the lane is -1, then what I will do is instead pick lane from 1 to 0, or instead 0 to 1. But if the lane is 0, then I will have a 50% chance of going to 1 or a 50% chance of going to -1. So in this case, what I will do is once again have an if else. And in this case, what I will do is, oops, I didn't mean to do that. In this case, what I will do is I will say if pick random from 0 to 1 is equal to 1. So if this is the case, then I will set the lane to 1. And if this is not the case, I will set the lane to -1. So very simple. What we're doing is first we're checking if the lane is 1. In that case, we'll set it to either -1 or 0. Then if the lane is -1, then we set the lane to +1 or 0. But if the lane is actually 0 and it's not either -1 or +1 of the previous car, then what we do is we have a simple probability check, or a coin flip if you want to think about it. And if the coin flips to 1, then we set the lane to 1. And if the coin flips to 0, we set it to -1. So we can drag and drop the remaining code here. And that would be pretty much all we need to do within our init double clone. Okay, so before I end this video, it's important to make sure that we can see our clones move. And that is obviously our clone update. And before I get into that, let me quickly declutter all of this because it's occupying quite a bit of unnecessary space. Okay, so we can drag and drop the clone update right there. And our clone update is going to be very, very similar to our background update, which we did there. So first of all, I will go to X and Y. And by X and Y, I am talking about the variables. So go to X, and go to Y, Y. And we also need to change the sizes, but I'll do that in a second. So after this, I will show. And you know what happens when the size is 100 all the time. And you saw in the background where it comes off the edge of a screen in a really, really ugly manner. So what we do to fix that is say set size to 400 here, and then we set the size back to 100. And after this we show, and once again we need to make sure that the cars are actually moving constantly. So we can change the X value by -12, and we can change the Y value by -6. So the cars are always going to move at a constant pace. We're not going to move faster and faster as the player gets to a higher score. So once we are done with these two things, now okay, I made a mistake there. So it's not set Y to -6, it's change Y by -6. So be very, very careful in that. And once we're done with all of this, we can just enter into a simple if-then condition. So if our X value is less than 400, so we can grab a less than from operators, and not 400, -400. So the cars are basically past the extreme left end of the screen. In this case, all we have to do is delete the clone. We don't even have to do anything else. And I believe that would be pretty much all we need to do within our clone update. Alright, so now we can run our code finally, and we can look at our results. So clearly there are no cars appearing, and it seems like I've made some kind of a mistake. So what I will do is go through my code once, and then I will be right back. Okay, so I found out the problem, and it wasn't quite what I expected. So what was really happening was the fact that we were going through this game tick, and the clone was never really equal to yes, and as a result we were just creating clones which didn't have that variable as yes, and each of them was doing this, and that makes no sense, and that is simply because we haven't created a clone yet. So you can just see when I start as a clone, and in this case we will just set the clone value to yes, and if this is yes, then it means that we are creating a new clone of ourselves, and we can update using all of this code here. Now what I will do, like I mentioned, I will not be fixing the layering in this video. I will just add a go to front layer, and this just, makes the clones go in front and it messes up the layering. But we will fix the layering in the next video, so don't worry about that. So you can just click OK, and after this you can see that boom, our cars are moving. And obviously, the player can go right through the cars now, and I'm pretty sure you can catch these cars which are layered incorrectly. But the good part of it is the cars are spawning and they are clearly working. I'm going to end this video here, and in the next video I will fix the bugs which I mentioned. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a like, and also don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.